you just gave me because I love the Temptations. Like I love the Four Tops.
Yep.
Just like I love the
you and my
Osley
dad
Brothers,
both.
Teddy Pendergrass, Luther Vandross. I mean, thank you. Thank you.
I know who else you also love, Jerry
insulted.
Jones. And he made these comments to DLLS on why he won't ever hire a GM, saying, quote, "I've done it all, so I have an inordinate amount of confidence. If anybody can figure out how to get it done, I can figure out how to get it done. So hell no, there's nobody that could come in here and do all the contracts and be a GM any better than I can." He continued, "Plus, I'm where the buck stops. When it's up, I got to cover it. There's nobody that can do it. Running this thing, that's who I want to make the last call. Now, when I can't think, when I'm old and I can't even do it, but I'm a long way from not being able to do it too." Booger McFarland had Jerry's back. Boog.
You can make an argument that Jerry Jones has been one of the top 5 GMs in football the last 4 or 5 years. Just look at the amount of talent that Dallas has accumulated, from Dak to Zeke to Lawrence to Micah. I can go on and on and on and on. It's all been Jerry Jones. Everybody was expecting Jerry the GM to go out and spend a boatload of money, but Jerry the GM said, you know what? All in was all in on the people we got. You find me a general manager in the National Football League that's accumulated and hit on more picks the last 5 years than Jerry Jones. I'll sit back and wait because it's going to take a while for you to find that.
Jerry Jones still making moves. We have breaking news that he's signing Dalvin Cook as we speak, telling our Adam Schefter. So, Kmart, you're up here first. Has Jerry Jones been a great GM?
A great GM. Jerry has not been a great GM since I was in middle school. Great. The championships, the title games, it's been a long time coming. It's been 20-something years. He's a very good GM. I think what trips up Jerry is that in his mind, he has drafted well. So I'm good at scouting talent. You know, Dak Prescott, they got in the 4th round. They got Trayvon Diggs, Micah. You know, they've been able to accumulate talent. Look at all the guys that they've been able to draft. That's top-tier scouting. However, covering the NFL as long as I have, I realize that there are some organizations that are good, they're content, I should say, with being competitive. And there's a difference between being competitive and being all in, as Jerry said, all in. You're going to do everything you can to win a championship. You're going to do everything you can to bolster this roster in free agency and in the draft. And I think the Cowboys and Jerry Jones have gotten somewhat, it feels like they've gotten somewhat complacent with being, we're the team that goes 12-4. We're the team that goes 12-5. We'll win games in the regular season, 13-4, whatever it may be. But you can't, what's the point of going, you know, what's the point of having all those regular season wins if you get bounced in the first round of the playoffs? So good right now, but he used to be great.
Yeah, I have 2 things to say. First off, Jerry is not Jerry Vanessi. Look him up, Jer, who's the one who drafted Horning and Starr and Jim Taylor and Ray Nitschke and put those Packer teams together. And Jerry seems to think he's on that level. If anybody thinks because Jerry played offensive line for Arkansas with Jimmy Johnson in the early 60s, that he's out there scouting all these, and he's at these college games in the middle of September or in the middle of October at these obscure spots, finding these, you know, obscure players, that's a bunch of nonsense. And the other thing I would say about Jerry Jones is this. Jerry, you are not allowed as the owner to separate your ownership from your general managership. This is your franchise. You have not played in a championship game since Barry Switzer was there, who took over Jimmy Johnson's team. That's 29 years. So the idea now that you want a pat on the back that you've done such a tremendous job with the talent, well, where are the results? You haven't been to a championship game in 3 decades. Very few teams could say that. And Jerry doesn't want you to think about that. He wants to talk about, well, look at all the guys I found. Stop, Jerry, stop. Nobody cares, okay? Bottom line is your team has not been answering the bell in the big spot since Jimmy Johnson. That's all you need to know about the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, Barry Switzer did win the Super Bowl, even though it was with Jimmy's players, and I get that. After they lost in the NFC Championship game,
that's my point.
Francisco that 1 year, I get that part. You know, Booger McFarland, he's a really nice guy.
Boy.
He deserves, you know, he's a really, really nice guy. I have no idea what the hell he's talking about. I love Jerry Jones. We know that's my buddy. But great is a bit excessive. Yes, he has located talent, and that is true as the general manager. You know what else he did? He hired and fired coaches.
Oh, yes.
Since 1996, He's had 7 head coaches. 7. That's more coaches than playoff victories in the last 28 years. He's got 5 playoff victories. He's had 7 head coaches. How the hell are you a great GM and you got more head coaches than playoff victories? And it hasn't, not only have you not won a Super Bowl, you haven't been to a Super Bowl. Not only have you not had an NFC championship, won an NFC championship game appearance, you haven't been to one in 28 years. The results define your success. You can't go on and say, oh, you know what? I mean, I picked these guys and look at them. They made the roster.
He has
They
drafted
actually made
well.
a contribution. They can play. No, that's not how you measure success. You measure success by the bottom line. Listen, since 1996, the Dallas Cowboys franchise, their valuation has escalated by $9.3 billion. Okay, so you know how, so guess what? That's a bottom line. You don't mind being recognized for that. You making money.
Yes.
You winning headlines. You're the most valued franchise in all of sports. How do you have more head coaches than coaching wins, but somebody's still calling you great? That don't make sense.
Stephen A., to your point, I want to know how much that consolation prize comforts him, right? Their franchise is worth more than any other major sports, north of $10 billion now. That was just announced. How he's able to sleep at night. Hey,
Because
we didn't compete, but that's what I mean. And I'm wondering how much of a discrepancy there actually is, and
I get in
how
front
much
of him, I'll
peace
laugh.
he's able to have just based on that. They're the number 1 franchise in terms of revenue and headlines.
He's a savvy businessman.
Yeah.
Jerry is great at making money, hand over fist. He understands how to market his team. He understands what the star. He helped make the star, right?
Yeah.
So that is on his ledger. So when you talk about him being great, to get the Cowboys to a point where they are worth that much money, that's on him.
Well, let me say this, though. Let me say this, Kim, and I'll throw this back at you. Yeah, you're a great business.